Fascism is capitalism's best friend. It's one of the reasons why we see what's going on in Washington and why the Democratic Party is doing nothing about it, because like the Republicans, they are also capitalists. Nancy Pelosi said it herself. We're capitalists. That's just the way it is. Speak for yourself, lady. You're not speaking for the rest of us, that's for sure. Especially since a lot of us have been brainwashed over the years into thinking capitalism meant freedom and liberty when it clearly doesn't. Now, I want to go over something here, and that is why the Democratic Party doesn't do anything to stop Republican advancement with their agenda. Why are they not targeting the more local and state governments as precisely and with such determination and discipline as the Republicans are? It's very simple. They want it to happen. Why? Because they're capitalists like the Republicans. And as I just said, fascism is capitalism's best friend. So fascism is capitalists' way of ensuring that what they feel they are entitled to, i.e. all of our money and our wealth, goes into their pockets and into their possession. That's what fascism is meant to do. Force the masses to fork over the wealth to the rich. You basically have just a bunch of Prince Johns all over the economy running things. And the Democrats are no different than the Republicans in that regard. They believe that it is their right to have all the money, all the wealth in existence, just as their donors feel the same way. And that we exist as their servants, as their obedient, loyal dogs, that we shouldn't question anything, that we should just shut up and do what we're told. They have a very narrow and a very dehumanizing view of humanity. That they somehow are, ordained to be the best, the better people, And that, excuse me, and that we as peasants exist to serve their every whim. These are the kind of people we're dealing with. And the Democrats, this is why they sneer their own base. Why anytime the Democratic Party base says, hey, we want universal health insurance. Hey, we want women to have the right to choose. Hey, we want a living wage. Hey, and if you're on the real left, like in this particular instance I am, hey, we want to decommodify housing. Okay? The Democratic Party just goes, ha 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 ha, you poor insignificant little peasants. You don't matter, you know. Yeah, we got that message. So why the hell do we keep voting for these people? The Democratic Party sucks monkey balls. They suck monkey balls and the Republicans suck donkey dicks. I know I'm being crude here, but I'm fed up with both of them. This is why I run with the People's Party and the Green Party. And then I've actually started following the Libertarian Party a little bit because I am in some ways a social libertarian. Okay? So I actually do fit in with some of the libertarians' philosophy. I disagree with them vividly on economics, but, I've tried to introduce to the Libertarian Party this idea of the voters voting on whether or not they want tax dollars being used for certain things, and if so, which areas, how much, in order, with a ranked choice system. They haven't responded yet, of course. You'd have to speak to these people really directly. Going online only does so much, hardly anything for me, but that's another story. So anyway, the reason that these Republicans and Democrats are doing what they're doing, and the Democrats, by the way, they're not doing it, they're not fighting back because they want it to happen. Because they know that even if a strong man gets into power like Donald Trump, which I'll get to in a little bit, as to why they are actually fine with him being the dictator of America, is because they know that under a fascistic strongman, money will continue to go into their pockets, and we won't have the ability to fight back because Trump would use the military and the police to crush the windpipes of anybody that dares stand up against the capitalists. That's why they want it. They will maybe not want it necessarily, but they'll allow it to happen because it means a guaranteed stream of money flowing into their own pockets. This is why we have to ditch the Democratic Party, why we have to ditch the Republican Party. And I would call on voters to do, again, this one thing I suggested in a previous video, and that is that if you were to run on the Democrat and Republican tickets, band together, leave those parties, and join a myriad of other different parties. Libertarians, Greens, DSA, Communist, Socialist, Independent, Forward Party, whatever you want, as long as it's not Democrat or Republican. Destroy the majorities. Okay, destroy the Republican and Democratic majorities, then you hold the leverage. It's that simple. But the other thing is, what if all the voters of conscience out there, Republican or Democrat at this point, it doesn't matter. But let's be simple here. What if we, on the left, on the Democratic side, left them and say, either went to the People's Party or the Green Party even, and just voted along that line? And what if the Republican voters who were sick and tired of the establishment left that party and started voting Libertarian or with the Forward Party or anything like that? Let's just be simple. Let's say it's the Greens and Libertarians, okay? So the left leaves the Democrats, and they all vote Green. The right leaves the Republicans, they all vote Libertarian. Well, you still have a two-party system, right? But what you're dealing with now is two principled parties. These two parties are very principled. Let's not get this twisted. And there are many things that the Greens and Libertarians actually agree on, particularly on social issues and foreign policy. The only areas where Libertarians and Greens really disagree is on economics. And that would be kind of a heated battle because they're really extreme either way, but that's just another strategy. But I'm rambling here. This is a video where I'm just rambling, okay? I just woke up a little while ago. I'm still finding my footing. But we are facing a situation now where the system is so thoroughly rigged that no matter what we try to do, as long as we operate within the confines of the system as it is now, ultimately, we're going to get our throats crushed. We're going to get our faces kicked in. We're going to get our money fleeced from us by force, if necessary. Everything we try to do, it's going to be supplanted because the system is set up to prevent the kind of change we need to move forward as a people, let alone as a country. The only way to really do it is to change the whole system. Now, there are ways, and I just named a couple of them as to how you could change the system without sticking to the two parties that are already in power. But these are just something to think about, and we got to ditch the Democrat and Republican Party. They're useless. I'm done with them. I'm sick of them. I'm not even. I started new social media accounts where I'm not even following those two parties anymore because I don't want to hear anything they have to say. I'm through with them. So think about this. The Democrats, in many ways, are the same as Republicans. They want us to lose everything and for them to gain everything because they are capitalists. They're both wings of the corporate party. The only way we can beat them is to give the other parties more legitimacy. So let's get our heads out of our rear ends, and to a degree myself included, because I probably still got some blind spots. But we really got to stop thinking about this country of, in terms of it's just Democrat, Republican, and it's the way it is. We can't change it. That's not true. That's not true. We can be the change. We just have to have the political will to do it, and we have to unite around core issues. And as I just stated, Greens and Libertarians, just to name a couple, are fully on the same page on social issues and foreign policy. So let's start there. Maybe the left votes for Greens and maybe the right votes for Libertarians. Maybe we could do that. Just something to think about there.